Hello, my name is Suzanne Gillette, and I'm the parish nurse at Mary's Place Day Shelter for Homeless Women, which is run by Church of Mary Magdalene, which is a church for homeless women and formerly homeless women. And I've been here since April 2002, and I've been working in other shelters and as a volunteer and as a student for quite some time, probably 1991, 90 or 91. And as a nurse here, what I do, I'm the one on the staff. There are several volunteer nurses, and I help them get set up and coordinate the volunteer nurses and also some other healthcare providers. Mary's Place has Bastyr University coming on 1 day a week, and I have students who come from various schools of nursing around the neighborhood. So we have a lot of healthcare providers, and the nurses here, this is not a regular full-blown clinic, so we're basically running a first aid station, and it's a job that really involves a lot of listening, because women need to talk about their problems and get some answers, and we have the time here that they often don't have in standard clinics, that they need to get people moving through. And so a lot of times I find myself listening for quite a while to anyone who comes. I just put out a sheet of paper, they sign up, take them in order, and from everything from changing a Band-Aid on a finger to some very serious dressing changes if they've had surgery perhaps. And they come to me with the discharge materials that the hospital gives them, and I help them perhaps change that dressing. And then we have give them remedies for tummy aches and constipation and the sniffles and things like that. A lot of them are things like apples for diarrhea and bran cereal for constipation. And we have also donations of things like support hose and the like, and if we have something that's been donated that works for a woman's problem, we try and help them. And as I say, listening is the major thing. And so for me, it's a very rewarding experience. And as we were discussing as I came in, that I ran into women on the street before I got in the door, and it took me longer to get here than I expected. And that happens a lot. It happens when I'm down, especially downtown, but elsewhere in town. I get hailed on the bus with, "Hey, Nurse Suzanne." And it's people want to introduce me to their boyfriends or whatever when we meet them on the bus and such. And so it makes for the possibility of getting to know people and getting to know all the good things about them. And that is very rewarding because they'll tell me their exciting things, and also they don't just come in here because they've got a problem. Sometimes they'll come in and talk to me because something good happened, and that part of it fits with the larger picture. I'm part of a larger staff. There's other people here who are doing a lot of other things for women, and so we just have our little niche and manage to fit with them. What else to tell you? I've been asked to talk about the hours that we work. I'm here most Mondays and most of the day. And then on Tuesdays we have a volunteer for 2 hours, and on Wednesdays RN volunteer for 2 hours. And Thursdays is the Bastyr group, and Fridays is open. I try to come when I can. We also have a social worker here who shares this office, and so we have to coordinate our schedule around that. I've recently been talking to an RN I know in the community who wants to come and volunteer here, so we're in the process of negotiating what time we can squeeze her in, because we do have a lot of healthcare coverage here, but it's always good to have more. Also, I've been asked to talk about my education related to this because I came to Seattle to pursue a PhD in nursing, and I found myself, at the time I was interested in AIDS education, and I had been doing AIDS work in Tucson, where I came from, and I started here with the AIDS Prevention Project, and was sent, first assignment with the Speakers Bureau, was sent to a shelter for homeless women, the Compass Center 5th floor shelter for women. And we had such a good time, it turned into a standing engagement. I went there every second Monday of the month for years. And I sometimes had a companion. I initially went with another nursing graduate student, and then I tied up with a woman who worked for Planned Parenthood, and the two of us, we often went in pairs, but I went by myself if there was no one else, and that was rewarding. That's when I began to learn about homeless women, because the women at that center gave me an education much more than I could ever teach them. I mean, I knew some of the facts about AIDS as they were developed and understood, but the women talked to me about what it was like to be homeless. And so that brought me into this whole project, and I changed the focus of my PhD dissertation, which had initially meant to be mothers of people with AIDS, and an expansion of what I had done for a master's program in Arizona. And I started looking at homeless women and how they stay healthy on the streets. And that was my opening question of the interviews: of how do you stay well on the streets? And all you have to do is ask one question, and people will talk to you for hours if they have the time. And I learned a lot, an awful lot, about all the needs of homeless women. They have the same needs as everyone else. They just have the difficulties of dealing with them. When if you have a heart attack, you sometimes don't get the same treatment in the first place. You don't get into the hospital as fast, perhaps, as someone with insurance. And then when you do, you may not get all of the latest treatments. The same with any disease that might be out there that someone can get. Of course, it happens to people who are homeless. And it's well known, I believe, that homelessness sometimes begets illness, as well as being sick can cause you to lose your job and your house and become homeless. So both of these things are tied.
Suzanne, could you give our phone number to wrap up? And do you take medical donations?
Oh, yes, we do take donations related to health care. We are always needing Band-Aids and first aid ointment. We can use things like the Tums and the likes. Certainly nothing prescriptive. And I use, as I mentioned, a support hose, and sometimes large shoes for feet that have bandages on them and can't fit into standard shoes, adjustable shoes with the Velcro. We have just anything you can think of, sunscreen that might relate to health. And the phone number here at Mary's Place is 206-621-8474. And so you can call and ask when it's convenient to bring donations.
Thank you.